Well, we're here with Ram Barkai and four of his close Cape Town Marathon Extreme swimming friends. Ram, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. How was it yesterday? You did the Strait of Magellan in about 4-degree water?
Look, it was feeling very good. Although the Navy says that the temperature was 4 degrees or 3.5 degrees, it felt much warmer to us.
Wow.
And I know it might sound strange. You're either turning into polar bear or the water didn't feel cold during the swim. The cold wasn't actually really the issue. The issue was the fact that the water was very rough.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
We were supposed to swim the day before yesterday, and the swim was cancelled because the wind picked up to 30 knots, and there were 1-meter waves.
Wow.
And the next day, yesterday when we swam, when we came there, the wind was about 15 knots, and it looked very nice. But as we prepared ourselves for the swim, and as we got into the water, and I think probably about a few hundred meters from the beach, from the shore, we realized that the wind picked up. Later on, we found out that the wind was averaging 25 plus knots, and I think with gusts of 35 knots, and I think the maximum that they measured was 39 knots, and we could feel it. The sea was getting bigger and bigger, and especially for us that swim to the right side all the time, we're not probably good pool swimmers anymore. We swim to the right side. You get a lot of basically waves, and the problem that in the Magellan Strait, which is very different to other swims that we've done, is that the waves are very close to each other. We used to open Atlantic Ocean with there's a swell and there's a meter or two between each wave, and there was literally some of them would come like bang, bang, bang on your face, which was very difficult because you had to time your breathing so you don't swallow the water. So you basically couldn't just normally breathe every time, every stroke. Sometimes you had to hold your breath for a few strokes to wait for the wave, for the right opportunity to breathe. And that, I think we found that very difficult. We couldn't really get into rhythm. Also because it wasn't a swell, it was sort of rapid chop.
Oh, okay.
Which still was at 1 to 1.2 meter. It wasn't, conditions weren't, there was nothing better on the next day, but it was very difficult to get into a rhythm. It throws your shoulders.
Yeah.
And every time that you try and stretch and have a good stroke, suddenly the wave move your arms, so you end up with a quirky stroke, which obviously our back is sore from, it wasn't such a long swim. It's probably somewhere between 4 to 5 kilometers, probably closer to 5 because it's about 4 kilometers a crow fly, so zigzagging and a bit of the current to the left. Probably swim about 5 kilometers. We've done it. Ryan and Kyron finished at 1:03, which is a very good time. Andrew at 1:13, and Tox and I finished at 1:20. We all felt fine. But we're feeling very sore today. So although it wasn't a huge marathon swim, it did take quite a bit of toll on our backs and shoulders.
Yeah. Now, I saw pictures on your great Facebook site. You all entered the water together, and as you crossed the strait, you separated. How did the boats, how did they monitor you if you were all in different locations?
Yeah, we anticipated that. Ryan and Kyron have the youth on their side. They're 36, 37. They're also stronger than us, so we knew that they're going to swim ahead. Andrew is somewhere between myself and Talks and Ryan Andrew. But basically, what happened. We anticipated. We swim a lot together, so we had a big naval vessel. I'm not sure what sort of vessel it is, and we had 3 Zodiacs. So each one of us, the 3 groups that we had a Zodiac next to him all the time, which was fine.
Yeah, yeah. And when you finished, what did you guys immediately do? Did you go take a warm shower, eat some good food, drink some coffee? What was your plans after the swim?
You know, the place here where we swam is a few hundred kilometers to the west of, I think it's to the west of Ponta Arena, and it is a really remote place. When you climb out, aside from the fact that it's very difficult to climb up because it's all big pebbles that you find very difficult to climb up, we get to the beach. We got dry. I think the first thing, most important thing, is to dry yourself. It was quite windy, and it was very unpleasant with the wind straight after the swim.
Yeah.
And then they basically put us in a Zodiac and took us to the vessel. Took about 5 to 10 minutes to get us back on the vessel. There we had a hot shower and some hot chocolate, and we got into dry clothes. And the vessel took us to the other side, back to the other side of the strait. Eating, even when we got back here, I mean, you know, after a sea swim, especially if it's cold water, which tightens up your stomach and your muscles, and when you swallow a lot of salt water, it's not that easy to eat that quickly. So we had a good supper. Yeah, we warmed up quite quickly. I think that another tough part of the whole thing was that once we got to the other side, the wind was very strong. It was gusting at 40 knots.
Oh.
And we had to go back into the rubber ducks to beach us to the other side. And that took us, Andrew and I was on one of the vessel, Karen, Talks and Ryan were on the other vessel. Andrew and I spent almost an hour on that rubber duck trying to get back to the beach. By the time we got back to the beach, we were soaking wet. The jeans, the shoes, jacket, completely wet. So that wasn't a very pleasant part of the recovery. But I mean, you know, it's all, I think it's all part of the adventure. That's the real exciting part of this whole thing. You know, we, rather than swim in the pool or swim just outside Cape Town, it's part of the adventure that we are in the most extremely remote place of the world. No one really understands what we say, and we communicate with a broken Spanish hand signal, and that's what makes it very exciting as well. You know, the challenge.
How have your hosts been? They've treated you well, and I saw a picture of your vehicle, which was very nice.
Yeah, we were very surprised when we landed at night in Punta Arenas Airport after 27 hours in 4 different flights from Cape Town. And then there is a van that Claudia and her crew prepared for us. And she basically had a poster of all of us in our bikinis with sort of a glacier background. So we're driving around like rock stars in Ponta Arenas with a van branded with our pictures and everything. And no, it's very nice. I mean, for them it's a big thing. One of the things that's very interesting, Stephen, is that, you know, we had reception by the mayors and naval, whatever, before the swim, and because there are 5 of us, they decided to start a proper record book of our swims and all the future swims in the Magellan Strait. Until now, it was ad hoc. There isn't actually any official record book that says who swam, what time, what temperature, all the details, the wind, the current, and etc. So you can see that there's all sorts of rumors and some pieces of paper. So one of the things at our swim, that there are 5 of us, because they never had 5 people at one go, they decided it's about time to institutionalize that swim, and they're having in the naval base, they're going to have a proper record book with all the details, technical details, the names and everything, which is great. It's gonna make it more and more professional.
Great. Now you still have 2 more swims coming up. What are your plans for those 2 swims? What are your plans for your next 2 swims?
Tomorrow, yeah, we flying at 8:00 tomorrow to Puerto Williams, which is the sort of the sister city of Ushuaia. Ushuaia is in Argentina, and Puerto Williams is the most south city, probably in South America and in Chile. We staying with the family, or I don't know, Claudia that basically organized all the logistic here and done an amazing work. Organize it for us. We're going to find our place, and we're going to go and check the water. And we're either going to swim tomorrow or on Friday. My water tells me that we're probably going to get there, do a 10-15 minute swim just to understand the water, to get the mind right, and probably on Friday do the bigger channel.
Okay.
It is going to be colder, although again, the people say that the same temperature is going to be 4 degrees. It's going to be a much colder 4 degrees than the 4 degrees here. I'm not sure exactly what was the real temperature here, because the naval base used their own technology to measure it. It felt warmer. All we know is that the bigger channel is going to be a couple of degrees colder, and it can't be 2 degrees or something like that, because that's almost ice. So it's going to be a much colder swim. At the same time, because the bigger channel is much narrower, I think we're going to have less problem with wind and current, or at least that's what we've been told. And hey, who knows? Maybe if we feel great, and we might even do a double. We'll see.
Okay. And then did you guys eat or drink anything along the way during your swim yesterday?
No, it's a too short swim. We 1 hour 20. It's too short to stop and feed. Also, it's very difficult in cold water to feed. But yeah, it's a short swim. We made sure that we hydrated. We had a good breakfast. We hydrated. A bit of chocolate before, and you don't really need to feed in a swim of an hour and 20. Aside from like Andrew says, that logistically, I'm not sure how they would feed us. It was, you're going to see some footage later on. It was very rough, so it would have been a very interesting challenge to feed us, but. Yeah, we've done Robben Island before without feeding, for 2.5 hours. It's not the most intelligent thing, but I think if the water the conditions are not too bad, your body can take 1 hour, 1.5 hours of punishment easily before you have to start.
Yeah.
We fed it a lot last night.
Okay.
We hydrated it a lot last night.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep this off record, yeah.
Yes. Well, we wish you the best for your next 2, and a lot of people are following you on Facebook and the different websites around the world. So best of luck, be safe, and enjoy.
Thanks very much. Yeah, safety is definitely, we do intend to complete and definitely to come back and tell the stories. And thanks very much, Stephen, for your support.
Okay, take care.
Okay, cheers, Stephen.